and the sad part is that they're calling them the bumbling bandits, Andy, because they had no game plan. He went into a bank with a BB gun. The other kid had a butter knife or whatever the hell they had.
That's ridiculous. They
get chased by the park workers, Hudson County, the people that work for the park.
Yeah.
So Gary decides to carjack one of them. My brother don't even have a license. I don't think he ever had a license.
Oh, shit.
So needless to say, he can't get the truck into gear.
Oh, okay. So he can't operate a stick.
So he crashes it into a. It's not funny because he's never going to see the streets again.
That's crazy.
And he crashed into a house or something, ran. Cops found him underneath a vehicle, feet sticking out. They found the other young kid, 20-year-old kid. They were both naked, half naked. I guess the dye bags blew up on them.
Oh shit.
They took their clothes off, and it looked like they were up for 2 or 3 days. And no, my brother probably was, because I know he's silly. I know he's got big balls, but this wasn't very thought out, if you know what I'm saying. So they find the other kid in the cemetery, and, boom, I heard that he tried to kill her. But it was crazy. Just a crazy week, man. And
that's crazy, man. So when they found him, do you think it was because your brother was involved in drugs? Do you think he was just going for
My brother's nuts.
Yeah.
First of all, I mean, I tried to help him, and he saw what I have, all the success that I've achieved.
Yeah, totally.
And my cousins as well. We've done well as a family. And I guess he wanted it all. He wanted it back overnight, and he had that thirst for it. He didn't want to be patient with it.
Yeah.
And he does have a drug problem.
Yeah.
And whatever my brother saw on television, he thought he can be it. I remember as a kid, 6 years old, the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk was in the 70s, you know, with Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah.
I'm coming home from school one day, and I just see Gary painted up all green with his shirt and pants ripped up, jumping on some guy's car. So all my friends used to, get your brother, let him hang out, let him smoke weed. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I had something to do with it, but...
Jeez,
But
man.
anyway, yeah, he's...
That's wild.
Yeah, and then last night, I don't know if you're familiar with it, maybe vaguely, they're doing a handicapping show.
On CNBC, is it?
In September, about handicapping, and this guy, Steve, what the hell? Steve Stevenson. Steve Stevens or something like that.
Steve Stevenson.
Nobody heard, yeah, sounds like a real name, right? So, nobody's heard of him. I happened to just paste and copy the article on my website, that's all.
Yeah.
So out of nowhere, I'm minding my business last night. I got my phones pointed to my cell phone, and it comes up restricted, and all of a sudden, I just hear Danny B, and I'm like, yeah, what's going on, pal? He goes, listen, you cocksucker, I'm going to fucking kill you. You wrote an article about me, you piece of shit. You don't know who would... And I'm like, who the fuck, what?
Oh, shit.
And he's going on and on and on.
He just went straight
He went nuts. And I didn't write the article. And I finally, got him to... Because you can't... The guy just talks. He doesn't shut up.
Oh, shit.
So I finally get a word in, and I was like... I didn't write it. I pasted and copied. I'm not the enemy. Actually, I'm trying to get my own reality show going. It's on the brink, but shopping it around. But needless to say, the guy just came all after me. He's going to kill my family.
That's crazy.
And then I did slow him down. I said, for somebody that's trying to get a reality show going on CNBC, you're calling somebody up. What happens if I called CNBC up and say, the star of your new reality show is threatening my life?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So needless to say, I slow him down and turn things around, and he actually offered me to come out to Vegas, and, first of all, nobody's heard of him. I've heard of him in the past. You know what? Because I remember a couple of years ago when I had Tim Donaghy, I just hired Tim.
Okay.
And people were pranking me. How do you have Tim working for you? He's this, he's that. But I remember the voice. I remember the voice because he threatened to drag me down Las Vegas Boulevard on the back of his SL 650 or 550, whatever the hell. I'm like, this fucking guy's nuts.
That's crazy.
But anyway, it was interesting. I'm minding my business. So we leave it off as friendly. Like we slowed him down, but he apologized. So.
Oh, well, that's good.
Then I call the Philly Godfather, and I tell him, he says, why don't we have him, because he'll be joining us in a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to be calling in a minute.
Guy's a book of knowledge. So how am I? Am I on camera here? I don't even know what's going on.
You're good.
I don't even know what I'm doing. But anyway, it's just having some fun. But anyway, so he tells me, why don't you call the guy up and he called from a block number, so I had to find his number.
Okay.
So I find his number, and his secretary puts me on hold, and he gets on the phone with me. He says, you know what? I don't talk to anybody. I got this person looking for me, but I like you. I wanted to talk to you. That's why I took your call.
Okay.
So I said to him, listen, I'd like to have you on the podcast. We want to talk about your upcoming show and, how you got into business. And he just went berserk. He goes, come on, your little podcast? You're a puke. You're this, you're that. What do I need from you? I got ESPN. I got CNBC. I got everything. All you guys need me. I don't need any of you. You're all jealous. And I'm like, this guy's fucking bipolar.
Yeah, that's
He was
nuts.
just nice to me. Then I told him about myself, letting him know that I'm not new to the business myself.
Yeah,
And I've had
totally.
some, I've been in trouble before. That's not, know how, that's
it's
no
nothing
secret.
new.
Yeah, nothing new. So, but this guy got into trouble, I guess, in '99 for telemarketing.
Okay.
And he's one of those guys that does. I talk a lot, but this guy has fucking diarrhea of the mouth. I'm serious. The guy's a fucking. I don't know why. I'm sure he's entertaining.
Yeah.
But he's going on about he's a god. He's going to make $40 million. We're all no good.
Wow,
And,
shit.
and I guess he's friends with Mayweather. I'm not too sure about the whole thing, but bottom line, the guy's a whack job. So,
That's nuts.
he was trying to tell me that I don't know what I'm doing, and none of us, I've been doing this shit my whole life.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're doing. But yet the people know who I am. Nobody knows who he is. And I'm not jealous of anybody. I'm happy for the guy. Good for you, but you're a piece of shit anyway if you're listening right now.
I mean, that's crazy to go from apologizing,
Dude,
being
bipolar.
nice, and then just fucking
Bipolar.
flipping out. That's nuts. That's nuts.
I was
man.
like trying to, and then my wife's coming down like, who are you talking? Because I was just like, but, just would you let me talk? Wouldn't let me have a word in. My wife's coming down like, who the fuck are you talking to at this time of night?
Yeah.
And
Especially going off like that. That's crazy.
yeah, and I like, well, but anyway, so it's been just a crazy week. But
That's nuts.
joining us a little bit. We'll hear from the Philly Godfather.
Absolutely.
Philly Godfather out of Philadelphia, of course, well known in the business. You can check him out at thephillygodfather.com.
Yeah, and also on Twitter, it's at Philly Godfather.
And excuse me, I got some guests. What the fuck is that drink you just?
I got it's Kabuki
Kabuka
juice.
We got preseason football starting. We're going to talk a little bit about that, Andy. And, like I said, it's just been a crazy week. And you got some good news. Let's talk about you. I mean, with this show, we're going to talk sports betting. I'm going to leave that up to the Philly Godfather. He's going to share some insights and all that neat stuff.
Last...
Talk about you, Andy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I forgot to tell you, this show is brought to you in part by Shit, Ass, and Fuck.
That's right. Hashtag
Shit, ass,
and
fuck.
fuck.
Our sponsors. Not necessarily in order. Shit, ass, fuck ass, shit. I just like saying that.
The liberation of Danny B.
I like it.
How
How do I look? I look all right?
Oh, you look
my
great,
shirt all right?
man.
Do I look fat today? Am I right?
You're looking good.
I wish I could smoke like Coco does.
Oh shit! Yeah,
He
well,
just sits there
you don't want to
burning.
do it in the back cave though. You don't want to stink up the
not in
place.
the house. Never in the house.
Lee, if you're listening, bro, I don't know how you deal with that. I don't know how much Febreze you got to invest in to get that stink out of your house. But so the first podcast that we did, it went great. We got a great response. I just want to thank everybody who was downloading and giving Danny feedback on the internet. But last podcast, I mentioned that my buddy Mike Skakoza.
Spit it out. Spit it out, Andy. Get it out. Get it the fuck out, Andy.
He's going to be on the CW tonight. He got discovered by Tyra Banks.
That's Tyra Banks,
Yeah,
fool.
it's crazy. And
That
he's
was a good commercial. I like that one.
oh,
Remember that
yeah.
back in the day?
Oh, it's crazy.
Chris Rock. That's Tyra Banks, fool.
But he's going to be on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's America's Next Top Model, Guys vs. Girls. So I just want to shout him out. I mean, he's been he was struggling out in L.A., but now he's really got a chance. And,
Good for him.
Yeah, it's good for him.
Love an underdog story.
Absolutely.
Selling ice cream now, right?
Yeah, well, he was selling ice cream on a truck, and Tyra Banks just discovered him while he was on the truck.
Just like that.
It's crazy, man.
Actually, you remember you probably don't, but people that are viewing this, Two for the Money with Matt McConaughey and Al Pacino.
No,
It was
I never saw
about this handicapper, Brandon Lang.
Okay.
He was a caddy, a golf caddy, and he pitched an idea to Rene Russo's husband, who was, I guess, a producer, writer, whatever.
Okay.
And it just took off, So it's just about timing. Life's about timing,
Yeah, it's great. I mean, this was all about timing, too. I contacted you
Absolutely.
and just kind of getting together and trying to figure everything out, and then look at where
Here
we're at
we
now.
are. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. We don't
We're
know if
having
anybody
fun, though, that's
cares,
for
but
sure.
I don't give a fuck. I'm having some fun with it.
Absolutely,
We're going to have some great guests again joining us in a little bit. The Philly Godfather.
Absolutely.
Been involved in some books. They wrote some books about him, Game in the Game, and a couple of new other books.
Very cool. Coco Diaz, obviously, we want to get him on. And I would love to get Lee on as well, just to talk to him a little bit.
Sure, Lee was very helpful, and I
Yeah, the
appreciate it.
Flying Jew.
And we're also going to just hear from the viewers out there.
Absolutely.
I've met some of Coco's support. What do they call them? The
Death Squad.
Death Squad, Stormtroopers, or whatever they are. They're funny though. They're loyalists. I like that.
Yeah, they're great. And if anybody from the Lehigh Valley listens to the Death Squad Network or the podcast or anything like that, like Joe Rogan's podcast, Joey Diaz's
Got to
podcast.
get JoJo on it then.
Oh,
Joey Rogan,
sick.
that would be huge. We're going to talk MMA.
Absolutely.
You're
yeah.
big with that. I'm
Yeah.
learning about it. I was a street fighter as a kid, but I know
Yeah.
nothing. I'll be honest with you, I know nothing about it except for it's very popular.
Uh-huh.
People want to bet on it.
Oh, totally.
And Coco's got good ties with Joey Rogan.
Yeah.
So let's hope we can
Absolutely. And
get some input there.
yeah, just speaking of like
Joey Odessa. You familiar with Joey Odessa?
No, I'm not.
He's big in the game.
Okay, very
He's
cool.
friends with the Philly Godfather. There's a lot of great guests I'd like to have. It's one at a time, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Gotta just feel them out, and as they come in, they come in.
And don't forget, we have preseason football kicking off
totally.
Sunday night, Miami and Dallas. A lot of people don't put much stock in it. You don't know nothing, do you?
No, I was just
going
gonna
to
say,
You don't even know
what-
Miami.
it's- so it's
what is it,
preseason?
cricket, or is it, what is it? Yeah, it's preseason, Andy. The regular season doesn't start till sometime in September. But most sports bettors, they don't pay no mind to preseason.
I was just gonna say, do these games count?
They count. Not towards the regular season, but
Yeah.
the cuts. A lot of players are trying to make the roster.
Very cool.
So it's more important for team depth to see who's what, who can fill in for this guy, who's got potential.
Okay.
But unfortunately, sometimes your star players will get hurt.
Okay.
You get a quarterback goes down. That's why you'll see them play a few plays in and out. In like the week 3 is when you'll see the starters play a little bit more.
Okay.
And then week 4, it's just kind of final cut, so.
All right.
It used to be 6 preseason games years ago. They cut it down to 4, and a lot of fans and I guess owners want to cut it down to 2 games to avoid the injuries.
That's
so.
crazy. Speaking of injuries in football, they have the shortest season of any sport, as far as I know, right?
Football, it's fast. It goes fast. It's popular. Everybody enjoys that. All the sports, college football is and college basketball.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
totally.
And Philly Godfather again, he'll explain about that. And baseball season, obviously, it's popular with some,
Yeah.
but not with everybody. It's a long, dragged out season. They don't understand it. The point spread's different. You're betting pitchers instead of money, and there's a lot of different ways you can bet on baseball, but. Yeah, this is the time of year where people are just like getting ready for football. They feel it. They're smelling it. They're getting excited. Sunday night's game starts it off. And then they usually play Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays.
Okay.
So they call it the Hall of Fame game. It kicks off on Sunday night.
Okay.
And then Thursday you'll start. But by week 3, they start pumping up the commercials and people start getting more into it.
More
You never
popular.
bet on anything, have you?
No, I've
Well,
never
don't.
bet on anything.
Unless you're taking our advice here, And come football time and basketball time, baseball's my sport. I've done very well. I had a bad, oh my God. That's another thing. It's been crazy. I had a 3-week slump where I couldn't do anything right.
Yeah.
I'm still doing well overall, but I wanted to explain to everybody that's listening, it's hills and valleys, man. Have a bankroll. Don't exceed it. Manage it. Yeah, just be smart.
Know when to pull out when you need to.
Got to take a deep breath. And I always like to say, the difference between having a good time and getting a DUI is knowing when enough's enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same. So, use that as an analogy or whatever. But,
Totally.
Just it's that time of the year. Kids are winding down the summer. I'm going to Ocean City here in a couple of, we'll be going the 11th and the 12th, 13th, something like that.
Very cool. Awesome.
Never been.
I'm going to Ocean City, New Jersey this weekend.
Which is nicer. I've never been to the one in Maryland.
I like Maryland better.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Jersey's great, but growing up in Long Island, I've spent enough time in Jersey that it's okay,
Yeah.
But this weekend I'm going up. It's a Naga battle. It's a grappling tournament.
You do that jujitsu crappie.
That's what I do. Yeah. So I just started.
How did you get into that, by the way?
You know what?
I know you were heavy as a kid. You said you lost
Yeah.
about 150 pounds.
Oh, not 150 pounds, like 50 pounds.
50 pounds. Well,
if I lost that would be a success.
Us
story.
handicappers, we exaggerate.
Yeah. But I started getting into jiu-jitsu about it's not 5 weeks. It's been like 2 months. It's been going so quick. But I signed up with 10th Planet Allentown. Shout out to all the 10th Planet Savages out there. Zach Maslany is my instructor, along with John Michael Holland. And we're actually going up as a team this weekend to watch the Battle at the Beach.
Where is it?
It's in Ocean City, New Jersey.
There you go.
So we're going up this weekend. We're going to have a blast. A bunch of our students are going to be competing. And I'm wearing my Finishers shirt, just a shout out to Finishers Jiu-Jitsu.
There you go.
Which is a big...
Little self-promotion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no shit-ass fuck, though.
No shit.
Can I get a shirt like that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I just, for years, I told you last week, I was censored. You know, I couldn't say this, I couldn't say that. I was always like, oh, looking at my producer, is that okay?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get vulgar. But if I want to drop the F-bomb once in a while,
I
know Coco's big on that. So.
Hey, yeah. Well, you know what? You got one life to live. Go for it.
Yeah, that's
just
it.
go for it.
But yeah, anyway, so football's starting up. A lot of guys are looking for handicappers to help them out. And after you hear the Philly Godfather talk, I think that what he's doing makes sense. It's a lot of people go about this ass backwards. You know, Andy. And this show again, we're going to talk sports. This ain't just about my business. We're going to talk about everything.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, the only sport that I know of is jiu-jitsu. So
and you don't know much about that because you're just getting started.
Because I'm just getting started. So I mean, whatever we can weigh in on. If it's just about life, we got about 5 minutes till Godfather calls.
5 minutes.
But you know what? Speaking of technical difficulties, if you want to turn off your computer, we've got the podcast running while we're watching it right now.
Uh-huh.
But if we want to turn that off, because I could hear the volume.
Oh, it's killing you. Here we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Look
Not
at this.
a problem.
Boom. Look at that.
Is that
Perfect.
off now? Or not?
No,
hold on. Are you okay?
No, that's good.
You're right. There you go.
Plug
it.
Yeah, this is a
a
totally
learning
new
lesson.
venture.
A learning lesson. There you
Absolutely.
go.
Totally
my
new
ass
venture
look
for us.
big?
This shit's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. We're also going to have, Coco's a great comedian, but I'm trying to get Mario Cantone.
Okay, great. Another good comedian.
You see him on The View. He was on Sex and the City. I'm good friends with his brother, Joey Cantone, who helps us out, too. Joey's a pretty good handicapper himself.
Now, did you guys grow up together, too?
No.
Or no? Okay, you just met through the business.
I met Joey Cantone in 95 through a friend, a mutual friend.
Okay.
Same guy that introduced me to my wife. And we just, we never really hung out until the last couple of years.
Uh-huh.
I used to give him some tips. He'd give me some tips. But yeah, his brother's a pretty famous comedian, Mario Cantone. So we're hoping to hear from him.
That's awesome.
There's a lot of people I want on the show. Anybody that wants to come on and talk about their business or
totally,
maybe they've had some rumors spread about them and they want to clear the field.
Some shit up, yeah.
I'd like to have that. That's what this is about. And again, the internet's great.
Yeah.
But it's also a poison at the same time, And most of the guys that are trashing everybody, they got no lives.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Anybody could. Let me tell you something. Everybody in this business has some type of skeletons in their closet.
Yeah, well, you said, when getting started with this whole thing, you said, hey, handicapping's a dirty business.
It's an ugly business.
It's an ugly business, but it's still a business, and you're trying to clean things up. You're flying straight now, and
well,
you know what
I got into trouble back in 2004 for referring people to casinos. They made a big stink about it because we were making so much money. You can still archive that shit. Jeremy Roenick. We had big money coming in. We were doing about $500,000 a month in business. We were doing about $500,000 a month in business.
That's insane.
It was just a machine, but things were different then. And I guess the investigation, I don't know how it started. First of all, we were in Fort Myers, Florida. It's a nice little quaint town, a mom and pop type of place.
Okay.
If we were in New York or somewhere else, big city, we stuck out. Our parking lot was insane. We had Ferraris, Vipers, all types of Mercedes, Lamborghinis.
Sick.
Remember on the weekends, the farthest, because next door was a fireworks place. So the dads used to bring their kids like it was a car show.
Oh,
everybody had their own little car washing guy. I liked this one guy. This guy liked the Mexican car wash guy. I had the white guy. Not that I'm prejudiced, but he just did a good job.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, it was pretty crazy, and we took it on a chin, man. We lost $14 million, but they made it look like we were real. Bottom line was, what's that? Is that? Oh, there he is.
There he is.
That's a weird little signal.
I know. Call coming in. Philly Godfather, what's going on?
What's up, my man? What's new?
That's Andy. This is Danny and Andy. Hey, what's going on, pal? Can you hear us? This is our first.
That sounds like a TV show from the 50s. Danny and Andy. What's going on?
Danny and Andy. Amos and Andy, that is. We were talking about you a little bit. You're talking about the preseason, talking about Coco, my brother. So you missed a little bit. But, it's that time of the year, and I figured why not start the first guest. with you. You're an expert at all this stuff. PhillyGodfather.com. Why don't we talk about you a little bit, Godfather? How you got into the business? There's some books written about you, and I know you were part of that Tim Donaghy thing back in the day. And so let's talk a little bit about you and how you approach sports betting.
Yeah, absolutely. But first, I just want to say thanks to Coco Diaz, man. He's one of the funniest guys I've ever seen live. And then even in the cab ride over to the show, he had me cracking up. I couldn't stop laughing. I was dying.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
He's unreal, man. He's totally unreal.
Actually, you weren't there the following night, and you know the air conditioner was out, and it was hot as hell in that place that night. It was like that Philadelphia 99-degree day. Nowhere. The next night, he made a skit out of the cab, out of the ride over. It was funny, you know. So yeah,
oh my God. That Arab guy is trying to tell Joe Coco Diaz not to curse. And Diaz is just going ballistic on him. Oh my! It was the funniest. I wish everyone could have been there.
I know.
Oh my God! It was
he could really unleash.
Well, and none of us would think and pull out the camera and record this because we had a firsthand. It was like that footage that it's you don't get, like the Kennedy footage.
Yeah, I swear to God, it was set up perfectly. You know what I mean? It was so freaking hilarious. I thought I was being set up the whole time.
And he's good now. I mean, and then the next night, I went back to the hotel. He's back in New York though. He comes into New York on sometime September, so we're gonna catch him there. But yeah, let's shout out to Coco as always because this was his idea.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you're the expert. This is what you do. You know, I'm good in baseball. You know, you excel in everything, and in the books they talk about it. So again, talk about Philadelphia, how you got into the business, because there's a lot of misconceptions about. We talked about that Steve Stevens that nobody knows. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit. But let's talk about you there, Philly Godfather.
Yeah, I mean, I started gambling when I was about, I think I was 17, almost 18 years old. A good friend of mine. We were great friends growing up. He's actually my best friend now. We'll call him the Rooster.
The Rooster.
And, he was moving money for some sharp guys, and I didn't know nothing about the business. You know what I mean? I didn't know how it worked. And he approached me one day, and we were kids. You got to remember, we're teenagers. We're kids. And he's like, you know, Bob, Steve, you know all these people. He goes, why don't you find me some bookmakers to bet with? And I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, what are you doing, man? No one ever went betting on a game, going to the casino. I'm like, what are you? He goes, man, don't worry, just find me some bookmakers. So I grabbed him 2-3 bookmakers. You know, I know a lot of people in the city.
Of course.
You know, my family's associated with a lot of different people. We've had businesses our whole lives. So I introduced him to a couple guys. Next thing you know, I'm keeping track of everything. And he's not losing. Every month goes by, he's turning a profit. You might have a couple losing days or a losing week. But usually, almost every month, the guy keeps winning.
Wow.
So I'm like, wait, something's going on here. You know what I mean? So then, you know, I hit him up. I'm like, bro, you know, Rooster, what the hell's going on? He's like, listen, find me some more guys, and, you know, I'll let you in. Let me in on what? He's like, don't worry about it. So now I'm like, wait a minute.
He's only giving you so much to work with.
Some kind of information. Who knows what, you know, back then.
What am I getting involved in?
Yeah, you don't know, you know. And you got to remember, we're kids, so I'm gung-ho, you know what I mean? You got all that adrenaline, all that testosterone going. You're a teenager. You're working out every day. So I started finding more bookmakers. Next thing you know, he's like, I want you to come in the office. I had given him about 7 or 8 bookmakers. And I'm thinking, what office? Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? We're you know, and I'm a dropout. I went to 9th grade.
Oh, shit.
So I didn't finish school. I didn't go to college. So I was always in the streets. You know what I mean? Whether
Same here. Same here.
So you're not like a natural-born hustler. You're just ready to work, try to get scrappy and do something.
Yeah, I was a hustler, man. You know, that's my nature. I love to earn. I love to hustle.
Great.
And I love action, whether it's betting on a game or starting a business or going to Vegas or what. You know, life is about action. If you're always in the action, then you always stay young.
That's
you know
it.
I mean?
They're correct.
Yeah, you gotta do something that you're really into or something that makes you feel alive. I mean, people who get stuck behind a desk all day,
they have nowhere. But you know what? And a lot of people might not. You're very diverse in businesses, not just the gambling. You know, you have you're an artist. Very beautiful stuff that you do there. I mean,
really? I never
very
knew
talented. That. Yeah, very talented. But getting back to the business, so you started off just you know what? And of course, back in the day, you didn't have all these online places to choose from. It wasn't as know.
We're talking about like the middle '80s. I mean, we're talking about there was no internet. There was,
no.
You know,
there was Harry on the corner.
People had computers. You know what I
mean?
Yeah. But anyway,
yeah,
so
anyway, I give him a couple bookmakers, blah blah blah. Next thing you know, takes me into an office, and there's like 50 guys in there. I'm thinking, what the hell are these freaking people doing in here?
That's crazy.
Phones are ringing off the hook, and they had, and I'm real observant. You know, every time I go into a new situation, I try to observe everybody and what's going on around me. And I noticed there's this one phone, and there's a guy sitting next to it, and all he's doing is sitting next to the phone. Everyone else is on the phone, calling people up. They got stat paper in front of them. They got all these names at the top of the stat paper, and they're running things down. And next thing you know, that phone rings, and everyone just shuts the fuck up. I picks the phone up.
Commissioner Gordon.
Out. What's that?
It was Commissioner Gordon.
Yo, I was like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the hell? And he screams out, I forget what he screamed out, but let's just say Dallas -6. And next thing you know, everyone's on the phone calling up all these freaking bookmakers, and they start betting Dallas -6 for all the rice in China.
What?
The hell out of the game. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know what I mean? So that was like the first time I'm in the office, and it was like the stock market. It was crazy, but it was an orchestrated chaos.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was all orchestrated. And then boom, 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 they would bet it, they would bury the game, and then they would hand tickets back to the guy that just answered that bat phone. I called it the bat phone.
Right.
Because I knew
Commissioner
it was
Gordon.
special right from the door. That phone was worth $1 billion. Whoever was calling on that phone was the man.
Yeah.
And I'll get to you later who that man was calling that phone.
I got a good idea, but go on.
But anyway, so that's, you know, I get into it. Next thing you know, he approaches me with an offer. He's like, listen, you know everybody. You know everyone in the city. You know everyone in the burbs. You're always on the streets. He goes, get as many bookmakers as you can. And I'm going to give you 20% with a work-off for all the games that you win. And I'm thinking, what the hell is 20% with a work-off? I don't know. You know, they don't know the terminology.
Sure.
But when you're fresh, when you're green, and you walk in an office, you don't know what the hell is going on. He goes, listen, whatever we won at the end of the week, say we win $20,000 this week, you get 20% of that.
Nice.
So you get $4,000 guaranteed.
And you're
no
18 years old.
involved. None of my money's being risked. It's all their money being bet. But I'm getting money for moving action for those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what 20% with a work-off was.
That's insane. I couldn't imagine making that kind of money so young.
Well, you got to remember, this guy Andy here, he doesn't know nothing about gambling, so he's just, intrigued by the terminologies and stuff like. But I grew up similar to your lifestyle in New Jersey. I hung out with the guys that are featured in the book, The Boys from New Jersey, and I was definitely not on your scale, but I definitely knew people as well. But I can imagine it, hustling around, because back in the day, that was the thing, taking down bookmakers. And bookmakers paid you back then, too. They had
their word was gold.
Absolutely.
And this was all, you got to remember, this is fresh, this is new. These guys were the pioneers. This was the beginning of when all this wise guy stuff started.
Mm-hmm.
Before these guys, there was some sharp guys here and there, some guys that took advantage of some situational advantages and had a smaller edge. But these guys put a network together that was never before seen before, with some of the sharpest gamblers in the country, with some of the best information. And you got to remember, there's no internet.
Right.
So all these guys had all the gold. It wasn't everywhere for everyone to find out about it. The stats weren't there, the trends, the history, all that stuff wasn't available for everybody. But these guys put it together, and that's what made these group of guys so special back then.
Is it safe to say a lot of these guys still network together?
Yeah, a lot of guys network together. I mean, over the years, there's been some civil wars in the office. Guys separated, they get back. It's just much easier.
It's an ugly business.
Yeah,
it is. But unfortunately, money, it's greed. That's the problem with the business. Nobody can ever have enough, and it's ugly. The internet has changed things. Anybody can write anything good or bad about somebody, whether it's true or not. Yeah. That's why I wanted to start these podcasts up, because it's an open forum. Again, anybody can write anything, whether it's true. Like this guy, Stevenson, nobody knows about him, but maybe they don't know about him. Maybe what they're hearing might not be accurate. Who the hell knows? So give somebody a chance before you throw stones at them. But so you're a street kid. Your father's been connected. I think you told me that he had a string of hot dog stands to start.
Yeah, when we were young, my pop had a bunch of hot dog carts in the street. He ran the hot dog vendors union.
Big.
I mean, that's a whole other story.
Sure.
But I was in a hot dog cart at the age of 8. I'm selling hot dogs and by myself, 8, 9 years old, pretzels, sodas, and I'm learning the value of $1.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what's so key about sports betting, is learning how to find value in these games.
Good
Everything
point.
has a price. It's a market. It's just like any other business. You got to learn where the value is. You got to exploit the value, and that's how you get paid.
Well, let me ask you something. I know your theory about this. You don't really put much stock into stats and trends, because if it was that easy, everybody would be making a ton of money.
Well, this is pertaining to stats and trends. This is what you got to look for. you got to look for, I call them real stats, stats that you can touch, stats that you can feel, stats that will affect a certain player's performance at a certain position in certain situations. They're called real stats. Other stats, like guys, averaging 14 points a game, or this offense has led up 32 points or whatever, that's just telling you stuff that happened in the past. You're looking for things that will help you in a predictive manner, that will help you predict what's going to happen in the future. There's a lot. 95% of the stats tell you what happened in the past, but there's very few stats that will help you predict what's going to happen next. And that's what you got to find.
Well, I sat with you a few times in Philadelphia, and I was amazed. And I've been around this business, but you're a walking encyclopedia with this stuff, and you schooled me, And I follow guys like yourself, I'm not. My pride, I put it aside. Baseball, I'm good at it. I stick with what I know, and that's very important. But when it comes down to moving on basketball and NFL and other sports, that's not my thing. So I just follow guys. I do know a lot of people because, as you know, I was involved in the offshore industry when it first started. So I'm a guy that's in the know. I try to say that I'm not a capper. I'm a tracker. I track guys like yourself. You don't win every day, but God, you're in the money. You're in the money. And your website's probably the most affordable thing. Anybody that doesn't spend $10 a month, Andy, even you.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
even
as a
you,
newcomer,
just to get entertainment, good value, articles. It's just a good site, PhillyGodfather.com. It's the best $10 out there. But on your site, you post some of your moves. You can't post all of your moves on there, correct?
No, well, this is what happened. During college basketball, I started putting up almost all the moves on there, as much as possible.
Right.
And I destroyed the college basketball market. Anyone that followed me, anyone that knows, on Twitter, I hit 80% during March Madness, which was just fucking incredible. I was happy about that. And during the course of the year, I think I hit about 65% of my games, which is probably one of the best college basketball seasons I've had in a long time, because usually you're going to hit 56% of your games. And you're going to turn a nice profit. But last year was just unreal. It was perfect timing. The website launched in October. But after that, I started catching some slack. A lot of guys that are, working with me, a lot of guys that I know.
Sure.
I'm giving out the games. The lines are moving.
It does affect it.
Next thing you know, they can't get down on the game with the right number. So now they're losing value. Now the value has been extracted from that game, and now it's causing them problems. And then you got to remember, I got a lot of friends who are bookmakers. And I always bash bookmakers and mess with them on Twitter. But you know what? I grew up in this business. I got a lot of friends that are bookmakers. I got relatives that are bookmakers. Next thing you know, and you got to remember now with this Twitter thing, like it started as a joke.
Crazy.
Now there's like 8,000 followers. I think I got 15% of my followers are from Philly.
Right.
Out of all my followers. So now they're all following me now. They're all betting into these books. And now all the bookmakers are calling out like, yo, you're getting us killed. I'm letting you get down $2 a game. I'm letting you get down a dime a game. I'm letting you get down a nickel a game. But now all these guys following you are betting 200-300, and next thing you know, they got 8,000 on one side, and they're getting exposed.
Right.
That's what bookmakers don't like. They don't like to be exposed in a situation, especially if they're on the wrong side.
Sure.
Okay, so now I had to tone it back a little bit. I had to cut back the plays a little bit. I'm trying to help everyone make a couple bucks. I'm trying to educate everyone on how this business works. But you really can't give out all the games because the repercussions with the friends,
Sure.
the business associates, family members, it's just too much. And then it ends up killing everyone. Next thing you know, bookies are dropping me because, you know what, screw you, I'm not taking your action.
Sure.
I got enough action coming from
I guess a good word, you're bombing your own troops. You're dropping bombs on your own troops because
you're hurting yourself. And in the meantime, and my father always told me, if you try to make everyone happy, you end up being miserable. You can't make everybody happy all the time. You know what I mean? So you got to really monitor what you're doing. You help people out. It's a subscription to the website. It's $10 a month. It's to get the moves. You're getting information. You're getting articles. There's a forum on there. We're going to be doing videos. There's all kinds of stats, trends on there, whatever you want to find. And we're going to keep adding to the website. But
it's a work in progress.
The simple answer is I can't give out all the moves all the time.
Andy, you wanted to ask me something.
I want to ask you something real quick. So let's say taking myself as an example, the only sport I really know is, obviously fighting, mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, stuff like that. So as somebody coming to the table looking to sports bet and get into it, when I go to your website, obviously there's information there. It's a great-looking website. But what am I getting out of that $10 purchase? We always talk about moves and all of that stuff, but just for the layman's
it's 33
terms,
cents a day. What you're doing is you're subscribing. I didn't want to sell plays. What happened was a couple of years ago, a buddy of mine that worked for me, his name is Vegas Runner. He's a great guy. One of the
very popular guy.
forget the popularity. He's so straight. He's such a good dude. He's got the biggest heart in the world, and he knew what I was doing for years. And he's like, "Listen, I'm working at pregame. Why don't you come here? You know, blah blah blah. We'll set things up. You can sell plays." And I was like, I didn't know. You know, I was like, I'm not into that. You know what I mean?
Right.
He goes, "Listen, they already wrote the book. They already know about you guys. Who gives a crap? Just come out here, you know, and we'll promote the website, build a brand, this and that, and you make some easy money. And listen, I ain't no slouch. I'm all about making money.
Sure.
So if I can make some money, I'm going to make some money.
Totally.
There's nothing wrong with that. And you got all these people bashing, touting this and that, but you know what? These guys are trying to make an honest living. Now, whether they win or lose or not, it doesn't make a difference. Because just like anything else, if you go buy a Sony TV, it's a lot better than an AMC TV. So with the quality of the product, you really got to do your homework when you purchase someone's plays, or you purchase a product, or you purchase a car. So that's up to the consumer.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So all these people bashing touts, you know, it's all a bunch of crap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, going back, so I got into it with Vegas Run with the pregame. They had me selling plays, but the problem with that is when you're charging so much for the plays, and these guys aren't betting the right amount.
Right, it's
and
gotta
then you
be
go on a losing streak. It's hard for them to make money.
That's a great point. You know what? I've been saying that for you. You have to have bank. To do this, you need a bankroll. Mm-hmm. And you're right. Anybody's capable of dropping 3 or 4 games in a row. It's happened. It happens to the best. Mm-hmm. But you need to stay within yourself. And people, it's this business, Godfather, it's what can you do for me today? They don't care that you were just 7-0, but they bought. You lost that day, and you know.
Well, this is what happens. They start, you know, at first they're uncomfortable with you, so they purchase your plays or whatever. They subscribe to your website or they buy your picks, whatever the hell you want to call it, and then they start betting $100 a game or $50 a game. You win 6, 7 in a row. Now they want to bet 500 again. They get greedy,
right?
And then boom, you lose 3 in a row. They lost everything that they bet when they won the first 6, 7 games with only 2 bets.
Right, 70%.
People don't
right.
have money management. They can't control themselves. And let's be honest, man. I mean, greed is an ugly thing, and it happens to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
I say that a lot, too. You know, I talk to guys. I've just radio for 20 years, TV for 20 years, score phones for a long time. You know, I got guys that call me up on a Monday and say, you know what, Dan, I heard your show over the weekend. I do good on my own. I was 3-0 Saturday, and then I bet it all on one game Sunday, and I lost everything I made and more. So a guy with a 3-1 record, 75% loses money. And again, the key word there, Godfather, greed.
Greed. And listen, there's nothing wrong with betting a lot if you think you got a greater edge on the game.
Right.
But if you're just betting a lot to get greedy and try to win big, well, what's going to happen? You're going to lose, and you're going to pay the juice, and you're going to be, you know, assed out. And the bookmaker's going to be happy, and he's going to go buy another Rolex, and you got to go back.
They're paying your mortgage. They pay you. How many people are paying their bookies' mortgages year in and year out? And you know, I always tell somebody, you know, have fun with this too. Look at it as entertainment. A lot of people blow money. They go to AC or Vegas and they drop $5,000. Ain't no harm on the play. You know,
as long as you know what you're getting into, man. Some guys spend $5,000 for a ticket to a concert for 2 hours.
Yeah,
if they're entertained for 2 hours, and for them, if it's worth it, and they got it, well, then you know what, spend it.
Absolutely.
But don't ever go in over your head.
Right, and I can relate to that. I took my family to see the Rolling Stones. It ran me about 4 G's, and a concert was 2 hours, but I don't regret any penny of it. It was wonderful, and you know, that's the bottom line. Know what you're getting into. Know who you're dealing with. And never always expect the unexpected. That's what no matter how good your information is, no matter how much homework you put into this, Godfather, anything can happen. A quarterback can slip, break an ankle, and variables, weather. So always expect the unexpected is what I tell my guys.
Well, I always tell people it's gambling. It's not fortune telling.
You know what? I got an email the other day when I was in a rut, and I still am. I just snapped out of it last night. Finally, I was kicking ass. I couldn't for 3 months. I couldn't do no wrong, and then for 3 weeks, I can't pick my nose right. You know. So a guy was asking me in an email, "Can we trust such and such a pitcher tonight?" And I said, "No." He goes, "Why?" I said, "Because it's gambling. You know, just it's gambling." Because he wanted to double and triple up to make up for his previous losses.
You got to be real sharp. I mean, you don't know. The pitcher might have been out partying all night, drinking all night. Might have been his birthday.
Oh, it was Darvish. It was Darvish.
He's got to play. I mean, these people are human beings. They got human tendencies. That's why they call it gambling, because there's no sure thing when you're betting on games.
Yeah, I know the pitcher in question that it was Darvish against Baltimore. He pitched a 3-hitter. First inning, he gives up a home run. So they're up 3-1. I've had a lot of one-run losses this last 3 weeks, too, but that's all part of it. But the bottom line is never go all in. I love a lot of these cappers. We got to end the show here in a little bit. But a lot of these cappers will tell you double, triple up, quadruple up. They want you to bet more, so you pay them more. That's the bottom line. You know, you don't deal with anybody over the phone. Everything you do strictly on the website. You know, have you ever factored in or considered talking to people over the phone and giving them information?
Listen, time is money, man. That's the bottom line. And then you know what I'm doing over here.
I know. I've seen it.
My kids, between the businesses, the gambling. I mean, if it's worth your while, you do it. If it's not, I mean, there's other things I can make more money on, and I'm going to do it. I mean, that's the bottom line. If the money's there, I don't know, I'll think about it. You know what I mean? But you know, I'd have to really do it the right way, where it would really benefit the person and help them turn a big profit.
Here's what I'm finding out. I'm new to social media. I'm new to Twitter and all that stuff. I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm honest about that. I'm trying. But a lot of people, they buy my plays and they post them online, and no big deal in baseball, but you had said you don't want it to affect the ultimate number. And what happens is when you're giving it to 10 or 20 people, so you think, and next thing you know, 2,000 or 3,000 people are betting it because they saw it on the RX or whatever. That line,
plus people know another 20, 30 people. They tell their friends.
Yeah.
You catch a hot streak. Next thing you know, everyone's betting it, and 50 people turns into 5,000 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, you and local guys, a lot of your followers are local, rightfully so. I've been around the streets with this guy, Andy, and honestly, he's the mayor. Everywhere he goes, he gets love.
That's great.
Joe and a hell of a boxer. You got to watch this guy in the ring, man. He was a boxer growing up. He got hurt.
That's awesome.
Yeah, read his little resume. So he's loved. The Philly Godfather, definitely you earned that name, and I see nothing but respect out of Philadelphia. You've been a gentleman to me. And I actually met you through Jimmy. Jimmy called me up one day and he said, you should talk to my guy. And I don't, yeah, he was going off. He goes, how can you have Donaghy work for you? Blah, blah, blah. Jimmy the Sheep Batista. And I'm like, oh, hold on. I'm trying to hear what he's saying. And he goes, this is Jimmy, the guy in the book. You need to talk to, you want to make money? You want to make real money? Talk to these guys. And I'm like, hello? Who's this? So, but, he introduced me to you and I got a chance to meet with you. And, and he's right. You guys are in the know. Donaghy was good for the NBA, but you guys are good for everything. And that's what I like about dealing with you. NBA, college, baseball. You're consistent, but you really excel in the college football and college basketball, of course.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bigger edge, I think. Even in the NFL, man. Like 2 years ago, I almost won the whole Hilton contest. I think I ended up with the 8th best record in the whole thing. It's $1,500 to enter. I think this year there might be 700 or 800 people in it. It keeps growing. It's fun. If you think about it, it's $100 a week to try and win half a man. You know what I mean? I don't even know what it's up to, 400,000 or 500,000. Wow. And it's fun. And I entered it as a joke because Johnny, like I said, my buddy Vegas runner, he's like, man, why don't you guys get in there? You guys are great at betting football. So I said, I will take a shot, and we almost won the whole thing. And I think 2 years ago we were like at 64% in the NFL. Last year we had declined. We were around 54.5% in the NFL betting games. But then college football, we kicked ass. We were over 60%. So every year the market changes. The market's constantly changing and evolving. Because people always ask me, what's your best sport? I tell them, man, my best sport is the sport of turning a profit, and that's all I'm worried about. So because every year it's going to change. Each sport, your winning percentage or your losing percentage is going to change in each and every sport.
It's a balance, and to really maximize it, you have to be consistent and stick with you throughout the year. And that's what I tell everybody. If you want to be successful, 58%, 60%, you have to do it 100%. You can't come here and turn left if we go right, and a lot of people do that. If you have a bad streak. And that's the bottom line. You can come in, sign up on a day when, we've been kicking ass, and then you come in the day that we hit a funk. So it's just sticking with the system, and don't be a sore loser. And don't be a sore winner. A sore winner can never get enough. I should have bet more, god damn it. I like that. The Godfather loved it. I should have fucking bet more. Next time I'm gonna. Whenever I see him put up $1,000 play, which obviously he's bet a lot more than that, but, they think, oh, this is a good one. They start out thinking themselves. So just follow the protocol and just stick with the system. But, guys, I really got to go because I got to piss like a fucking racehorse right now.
Great. You know what? If you want to go pee, I'm going to have I'm gonna have Godfather plug his website. And
I can hold on a little bit. Cool, my teeth are floating, but go ahead. Hit them up.
So, Philly Godfather, what's the best ways fans and friends of the podcast can get a hold of you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Philly Godfather. You can go to the website, phillygodfather.com, and you can always send me an email, phillygodfather@gmail.com. I try to answer everyone's email. I try and be courteous and polite. And I'm just trying to help everyone have some fun, and maybe you make a couple bucks.
That's great, man.
And before I visit the little boys' room, you really need to consider that. If you would have, I'm telling you, that would be big. And I understand time is money, but that's something that not everybody can participate. But you need to think about that. We'll talk more, guys. I gotta let you go. Godfather.
Yeah, one more thing.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
go for it.
No more eating that candy from Diaz.
Oh no! Remember that? Oh no! He remember the Tootsie Roll thing, the
Chewy
Chewy Chews.
Chew.
Dude, you
Oh,
pulled
my
over
God,
3 times in a night. I was in a sweat. I don't really sweat it, but my wife was like, "We gotta go. You're taking you back to the hotel room."
Did you see the devil on that Philly Godfather?
He told us to lick the wrapper first. He says, "Lick the wrapper." I'm looking at him, and he's like, "Oh, you lick it. You
We had
lick
a
it."
great time, though.
But it was a good time. We'll see him again, and and we'll have you on as a regular on this. I really like your approach to this, and I've seen it all. I've been around the block more times than the space shuttle, but you are definitely somebody that schooled me. And I do a lot of talking, but when I'm with you, I use the 2 years that God gave me, and I listen because I've learned a lot. And I thank you for your time. And you can always catch the best $10 you can spend. Philly Godfather.
Take it easy.
PhillyGodfather.com. Thank you, guys. I got to get out of here. I hope you enjoyed
Thanks
the
for coming on,
podcast.
Godfather.
Hope I look good in blue, and if not, fuck you. I got to go. Bye-bye.
All right. We're going to close the show out. Best way to get a hold of Danny is DannyBWins@gmail.com or @DannyBWins. Thanks for listening to the show. We really appreciate everything. Just one more shout out to Finishers, Jiu-Jitsu, and MMA. We're about to go crush it this weekend at Battle at the Beach. 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. Just getting ready to crush. I'm so excited for everybody. One more shout out to John Michael Holland and my man Zach, the executive Maslany. Don't worry about it. It's just business. Thanks again.